Hi, my name is Becca and I'm 38. Telling my story is going to be hard. My weight is over 650 pounds right now and I tear up just thinking about my time as a supermodel, looking drop-dead gorgeous and working for a top modeling agency. So what's happened to me? When I turned 18, I was looking at a life of success. I was going to live the dream of every teenage girl ever. And the person to thank for those amazing opportunities was my beloved uncle. He's the brother of my mom who had me after breaking up with my father and left the country in search of a new love. My uncle pretty much raised me on his own. He was convinced I was destined for greatness, for the spotlight. He cared so much about me that he even neglected his own personal life and left his wife when she argued he was getting too invested in his niece. I suppose he poured all of his unspent paternal feelings into me as he never had children of his own. So one day, a beauty contest for college students was announced in our town. The winner was supposed to receive a prize of her choice, either $3,000 or a photo shoot with a hype-top photographer that would look really good in her future modeling portfolio. Uncle came home in high spirits and claimed I had to participate. He said this was my crowning moment that would decide my fate. We spent the next day shopping for clothes that I would wear for the casting. We also visited a stylist who promised to make a real stunner out of me. Finally, we picked up some jewelry to suit my new outfits. The devil's in the details after all. I ended up winning the contest. Upon my uncle's advice, I chose the photo shoot over the money. He said this prize was going to kickstart my career and the money was a drop in the bucket. I agreed, and a week later, I had a fascinating portfolio for a girl with no modeling experience. Just a few days later, I had my first casting. They needed a girl for a miraculous eyebrow care product advertisement. We went all out preparing for the casting and my victory was obvious from the start. God, I will never forget the look of utter admiration on my uncle's face. He ran at me with tears in his eyes, hugged me and said, "You're sure to win. From this moment on, you're a real model. Remember this." Uncle was right. After my success at the casting, I stared at the advertisement and got my first $400 as payment. This felt like a ton of money for just 3 hours of filming. After that first successful gig, I got invitation after invitation. 3 weeks of irregular work later, I was offered tenure at a modeling agency. The contract terms were very decent, and I quickly outshone all of the girls I was competing with. I was the agency's leading performer now. My new life was like a fairy tale. I could afford to fulfill a lot of my desires now. Even more opportunities opened up after I left my first modeling agency for a high-end New York-based one some years later. During my time as a model, I purchased a Manhattan apartment that was small but really comfortable, and a splendid pink Porsche 911. I also traveled all over the world, which was the most exciting element of my new life. Sometimes I would stand on the balcony of my 5-star hotel and feel overwhelmed with gratitude for my benefactor, my uncle, who had encouraged me to get off the ground and live the dream. I realized the power of my beauty, but I never put on airs or looked down on other people. Uncle had always warned me against it. He said I should always stay respectful of those around me. I did my best to heed his advice. Tragedy struck out of the blue. My uncle died due to a foolish coincidence. He hadn't been to a doctor for years and he was never keen on conventional medicine. Over the years, he had developed a grave illness that starts out without any symptoms. By the time the person realizes there's something wrong with them and goes for a medical checkup, it can already be too late for treatment. They couldn't save my uncle. Having lost the only person I could trust and rely on, I was crushed with despair. I was deeply depressed for a month after his funeral. I didn't leave my house, didn't pick up my phone, didn't take lucrative job opportunities. When I recovered somewhat, I was horrified to realize I had gained over 60 pounds. This just made my mental issues worse. I was comfort eating to cope with the abrupt downfall of my modeling career now. Extra pounds kept adding up. The fat was rapidly engulfing my once stunning body, pulling up on my thighs and sticking all over my legs. I was terrified to look in the mirror, but I couldn't help myself. I typically ordered takeout so I didn't even need to leave my house to get more food to eat. Now that I would want to, whatever I wanted was delivered to my doorstep. I didn't just eat 3 meals a day on schedule like a healthy person does. I always kept a dish full of buns and donuts on my table. Pizza marked the start of my day and rotisserie chicken or turkey saw me off to bed. I ate my last meal at midnight and had breakfast at the first light of dawn. Even during this short break, I never missed the chance to snack on a pastry or a piece of cake. This lifestyle made my weight skyrocket to astronomical levels. I shudder to even say the figure out loud. In just 5 years of unhinged eating, I reached 680 pounds. My life feels like a countdown to the bitter end, and I'm going downhill much faster than I was going up when I started my modeling career. It's only now that I realize what I have done to my own body, but I don't think I'll be able to deal with my weight on my own. I'm hoping I could find a way to lose around 400 pounds, just enough to walk normally and take care of myself. I think telling my story here has been the first step to recovery. Please comment to let me know what you would do in my place.
Would you like to see more episodes? Support us by hitting like and subscribe. If you want to see your story in one of our videos, send it to this email address.